It seems I wore my long legs today. What happens if I
thought this was going to be a Stacy Keibler biopic.
Oh my God, I'm in love!
Last night, I watched Longlegs. And by last night, I mean 2 weeks ago because I'm a slow editor. But here's where my head was at going into it. Initially, I was intrigued by the strong critical reception I had heard about the film, and I mentioned to my brother, hey, there's a hot new Nick Cage movie out there that's getting a lot of buzz. And then I never saw it. Too busy with other important activities. You are a descendant of Vikings. Anyway, I asked my brother, who did go see the movie, to give me his review.
It's shit.
So I went on ye old IMDb, and I saw that there were a lot of polarizing reviews. Now, if anything, this made me more interested, curious to see where my opinion would land.
I think he's doing the dice thing too much.
Longlegs is billed as a horror film, but I would classify it more so as a creepy thriller. It's got Thomas Harris vibes.
Was she a great big fat person?
The basic premise is there's a new FBI agent and she's investigating a serial killer who's been massacring families for almost 30 years. A killer who may have a supernatural element, one that the main character could be tied to. I'm in. I'm like me in a Yakuza game when I'm playing the Mahjong. I may not know much, but I love me some Red Dragon. So what'd I think? I didn't hate the movie.
Okay. Disappointed!
But I also didn't like it. Though there were some aspects I really loved. So let's start with those. The opening. I loved everything about it. It was super creepy, and I love how the flashbacks, flashbacks are usually conveyed through sepia or muted colors in general, or a magic wig that suddenly makes you a teenager. But I've never seen it done before with a 4:3 frame. Love it. Fantastic. And it makes you feel like you're watching a 70s home movie, which is especially good for a flashback. And the way that the title card transitions from that slowly into letterbox. Ugh. My pretentious inner film critic just... If all you care about is the cinematography aspect of filmmaking, then this movie is a sexy redneck. She real pretty. I love the set design. I really dig all the wood paneling and brown buildings. This movie's got a vibe. I also really like this moment.
Does the guard check IDs?
Well, it does sound like a good idea, but no. No, we do not require that.
In such a brief time, I feel like I know this character. That snippet felt real to me. And that's an adjective that I cannot ascribe to many other parts and lines of this film. And now the negatives. There's some questionable decisions and actions. Off the top of my head, there's a scene where she finds a note on her desk that was placed there recently by presumably the killer, and instead of calling the cops or the police,
both?
she just rifles through it. But that stuff, I guess that's kind of nitpicky. You gotta suspend some disbelief. A bigger issue for me, here's one. There is a plot point that is set up in the first 10 minutes that is super obvious. The killer targets the daughters of families whose birthdays are near the 14th of the month. Lee, her boss, he's got a daughter that we're randomly introduced to. Oh, I wonder if she's got a birthday there coming up. Wonder if that'll come back. And I get that you have to set stuff up, but a good magician, as he's setting stuff up, distracts you so you don't notice it. Comedy. I am not a good magician. And you might argue, hey buddy, this is a movie. It's not real life. Satan makes a goddamn phone call. Which is fair, but There's a difference between a story or a setting that plays with reality versus a character's actions or dialogue that just comes across as fake. Or worse, only there so that the plot can happen.
Now, hold on a second there, mister. We're going after some creepy ghost person, and you want us to split up?
Well, yeah.
Want to get lost with me?
Though, I guess you could argue that anytime something unrealistic happens, it was just because they were under the influence of evil. You know, Satan did it.
I see, all right, yes. But in episode AG4...
See.
For Glaven out.
Then there's the acting. I want to be fair, there are good performances, but there are some that are rough. I was watching a few people where I was like, really? Really? This was the best person we could find for the job? And there's the whisper delivery. There's some characters in this movie that talk like this. Like everything is very serious in a dark world. Doesn't this sound just like people you talk to normally in your everyday life? Doesn't it feel real? Would you like butter on your popcorn? It's only 50 cents more. You can choose from any of the 4 candies in front of you. But not O. Henry. Between this and Nosferatu, I don't understand how people think that a great protagonist is like, oh, look at me, I have trauma and my eyes are weepy. And like that makes them a compelling and sympathetic character. I don't know, probably just me and my lack of empathy. But enough about that. Let's answer the important question. How's Nick Cage?
Knock, knock.
The antithesis of everything I just complained about. He is by far the best part of the movie. Longlegs is dripping with character. He looks like an albino child catcher.
Here we are, children. Come and get your lollipop.
And they do a great job of giving you just the right amount of explanation and mystery. You don't know his backstory, but parts can be inferred. I'm gonna try and explain what it felt like to me. Longlegs, the character, is like in the 80s when satanic panic was a thing. So there's a parent, imagine it, and they have a teenage rock son and they're worried he's being corrupted by Satan. And they start imagining what their son might grow into in the next 30 years. Longlegs is the result of that. What is this body posture? Hello, is this convincing to you? Look at my posture. Most importantly, he's captivating, he's not boring to watch, and he's memorable as hell. I will not remember Longlegs the movie, but I sure as shit will remember Longlegs the character.
Let me in now, and it can be nice.
Still less awkward than that Riddler scene. To me, this was a bad movie. I didn't like it. I wouldn't watch it again. But it was also kind of a different, weird movie, so even though I didn't like it, I'm glad that it exists. To explain what I mean, here is a beautiful clip from the late, great, and overweight Patrice O'Neal.
The attempt is what I'm trying to fight for. The joke funny jokes and unfunny jokes are come out of the same birth. That you don't know if anything is going to be funny. You should attempt to be able to make anything funny.
I repeat this idea a lot because it doesn't just apply to comedy, it applies to all art. You know, something that's new and innovative and captivating, or something that is goofy and dumb and weird, those end results come from the same seed. You need both. The creativity that gives you the Longlegs character design or the 4x3 flashback, that's the same thing that gives you the Satan phone call.
He's a tight ass! He's a sadist!
When you're being creative, you don't know what's going to work, and you don't know what's going to age well, but that's why it's so important to allow these ideas to gestate without interference. Hell, I would rather watch a bad movie that does something new than watch a good movie where I feel like I've seen it 100 times before. Now, once I'm done begging for subscriptions and likes, I shall leave you with my favorite part of the film. Not based on its own merit, but simply because of how my reference-addicted brain works. Thanks for watching.
Now all the way down. And get right down to the dirty, dirty work. Work that gets dirty.
We eat the pig and then together we burn